No, no, that is skip. Don't introduce it all. Don't introduce it all. You just introduce chairman a little bit and introduce chief question detail.
The fan photo also.
Yes, fan
little bit open.
And window open.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Rakesh.
Yes, sir.
The workshop is called Research Workshop on Deep Learning Applications, right?
Yes, sir.
International Research Workshop on Deep Learning Applications.
Deep learning and application. Yes, sir.
And application.
Yes. Research. No, workshop on advances in deep learning and application.
Workshop on
Advances in deep learning and application.
Advances
Professor, good morning.
and applications.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Rakesh.
Good
Professor,
morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Good morning, Chairman.
Proper.
Am I there in this call now?
Yes, sir, you're there.
Professor, it's going to take some time. Do you want me to join back or can I stay? Hello,
I
am
think
I
it'll,
audible, Professor? Dr. Anushree?
yeah, hello, good morning, sir. Actually, I'll take it, I think it will take around 5 more minutes. We'll start at 9.
All
sir.
right, I'll rejoin. Is that okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you.
So, Vijay, discuss பண்ணுறது
Okay,
Hello, everyone. Good morning. We'll start in another 5-10 minutes. We are waiting for the guests to join. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning once again. We are just waiting for the guests to join. We'll start in a while.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Vishnu Chandra, sir, for joining this event.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, Dr. Vishnu Chandra.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Manish. You are on mute. You are on mute.
Yeah, good morning. Sorry for being
Yeah,
late
absolutely
today.
no problem.
You know,
Yeah.
Good
Absolutely.
morning,
lot of
sir.
issues with joining from the office. Yeah.
Our chairman, Mr. Balasubramaniam is there. Dr.
Hi, Mr. Manish. Good morning.
Hi.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you. I think Dr. Anishti, we can start.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Anushri Bablani. I am Faculty of Computer Science and Engineering at IIIT Sri City. I welcome you all to this inauguration ceremony of workshop on advances in deep learning and application, WADLA 2022, organized by IIIT Sri City. Before we begin our inauguration session, let's all of us join together for a prayer.
वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् सुजला सुफला
It is past, team. It's not getting.
यामिनी पुल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदल शोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुर भाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणा वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवै सदा पूजिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा
IIIT Sri City has started its journey in 2030, and in the short span of 9 years, IIIT Sri City has placed itself as one of the leading institutions. We have achieved significant progress in key areas, including campus placement, research and development, industry collaboration, societal engagement. IIIT Sri City conducts frequent workshops for empowerment of research, students, educators, R&D, and industry persons in this emerging and demanding field of technologies. Today, we have all gathered here for the inauguration of a workshop on advances in deep learning and applications. The workshop on advances in deep learning and application, also known as WADLA, has formally organized.
Not audible, Dr. Anushree.
Am I audible now? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So today we have gathered here for the inauguration of the workshop on advances in deep learning and application. The workshop on advances in deep learning and application, also known as WADLA, has formalized in 2021 to give the participants hands-on experience right from the foundation from some of the leading experts in the field. We are today inaugurating the version 2.0 of the workshop. To give you more insights on this workshop, I would like to invite my colleague and convener of the workshop, Dr. Rakesh Kumar Sanodia. Over to you, Dr. Rakesh.
Thank you, Dr. Anusari. So, good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Manish Gupta, Director, Google Research India, Honorable Chairman, Sri M. Balasubramaniam, Chairman, Board of Governors, IIIT Sri City, and respected Professor G. Kannaviran, Director, IIIT Sri City, and dear faculty members, participants, and students. I am Dr. Rakesh Kumar Sanodia, working as an assistant professor and convener of this workshop. I am here to give a welcome speech for the second international workshop organized on advances in deep learning and application. I might likewise want to offer my thanks to all the speakers who acknowledge our invitation to direct this workshop for promoting awareness and building technical capacity of deep learning and its application. And I also want to offer my thanks to the organizing committee of the WADLA 2.0. So before we begin this workshop, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who sincerely committed to this event to make it a success. So this event would have been possible without the support of each and everyone present here. Now, I would like to brief you about the WADLA 2.0 workshop. The goal of this workshop is to provide a strong understanding of deep learning basics, advances along with the practical sessions, and to encourage the academic industry interactions through participants of leaders from the diverse field, and also to demonstrate the deep learning capabilities through industry lead hands-on sessions for the participants. This workshop is organized for the research students, MS, PhD equivalent, faculty and educator, industry persons to gain insight and information that would remain effective in their life, exercise, and work. Each topic in this workshop was chosen keeping in mind how industries are leveraging the deep learning technologies for their success. This time, we have got total 37 eminent speakers, among them 15 from ISC, IIT faculties, 13 industry experts, 2 from Government of India, Dr. Vishnu Chandra and Kuldeep, and 7 international speakers of the reputed are participating in this event as a resource persons. So we got an outstanding response. Total, we have got 130 participants from researchers, faculties from prominent institutes around the world, UK, Israel, South Korea, Mexico, Denmark, Morocco, Sudan, and IITs, NITs, IIITs, ISER, center, and state universities. In addition, we have eminent speakers from foreign industry and academia as well. So we are also glad to inform you that this event is sponsored by Science and Engineering Research Board, Government of India. So special thanks to our Honorable Chairman and respected Director for motivating us to conduct such workshop to make people aware of advancement in recent technologies, including deep learning, etc. So finally, I hope you will understand the value of advancements in recent technologies and enhance it for a better future. I assure you that this workshop will be beneficial for you in every aspect. So dear participant, it is all from me. Thank you all for being such a patient listener. Thank you. Over to you, Anusi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rakesh. Now, I would like to invite the Director of IIIT Sri City, Professor G. Kannaviran, who is also the Founding Director of IIIT Sri City Chittoor, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Good morning to all of you. Dr. Manish Gupta, Director of Google Research India, our beloved Chairman, Mr. Balasubramaniam, Dr. Vishnu Chandra, organizers of the workshop, Dr. Rakesh and Dr. Arun, and other colleagues, the participants from all over the world, and the resource persons. I joined Dr. Rakesh to welcome you all for the inauguration of this workshop. But for the benefit of the participants, the guests and the participants, I would like to share a few facts about IIIT Sri City, adding to what Dr. Anusri said. We are today one of the top IIITs among our peers, located in a place called Sri City. Sri City is in Andhra Pradesh, but very closer to Chennai. It is about 60 kilometers from Chennai on the Nellore Highway, next to ISRO rocket launching station. And we are also located amidst a large integrated industrial city called Sri City. we do have 4 different business zones at Sri City: special economic zone, domestic tariff zone, free trade and warehousing zone, and electronic manufacturing cluster. In all, we have more than 200 manufacturing companies from 30 industrialized nations. We are located in an strategic position surrounding these industries, and they are very active in collaboration with these companies located in Sri City. And we are today, have spent 9 years and initially supported by IIIT Hyderabad, and we continue to get best practices from IIIT Hyderabad and IIT Hyderabad. And we run 2 BTech programs, one in computer science engineering, another in ECE. Some special features about these programs include we have a very lightweight curriculum with 144 credits, and we recently introduced outcome-based education as part of NEP 2020 implementation. And we allow students to do a lot of mini projects and group work so that their learning becomes effective. And we have started offering specializations in very contemporary areas in order to provide skilled manpower to the industry. And in computer science, we are offering AI and ML, cybersecurity, and data science. In the ECE program, we are offering cyber physical systems and next-gen wireless communications. We also have a unique BTech Honors program in which the students take up a 4-semester-long research work leading to a research publication or a patent or a demonstrable product. In addition to these 2 BTech programs, we have recently launched 2 MTech programs, one in AI/ML and another one in cybersecurity. And we also have PhD programs both in computer science and ECE areas for full-time students as well as part-time students. I take this opportunity obviously to invite good MTech students to join our MBA program, join our MTech programs, and the UG students, BTech students to join our MTech programs. And we also have established a TBI funded by MIT, and we support startups in the electronics and IT area. And we have 2 schemes, entrepreneurs in residence and startup grants. And in the first cohort, we have taken about 10 people, and we are in the process of taking the next bunch of startups before 31st March. In addition to the TBI called Gyan Circle Ventures, we also have a Center for Smart Cities and an MHRD funded Design Innovation Center as part of our research centers. And our faculty are very active. They come from a reputed institution from around the world with the postdoc experiences and industry experience. And they provide all the leadership in terms of research and academia. And at this point in time, I take this opportunity to spread good words about our institute so that we get good MTech students and good PhD students. And I wish that all the participants who are in this workshop have a great time of learning, and starting with lessons from Dr. Manish Gupta and others. And here is an opportunity to create newer networks, collaboration opportunities. And I'm sure that the value of the workshop goes beyond these 5 days, and you are able to create newer networks. And you are most welcome to visit IIIT Sri City, and our colleagues will be willing to collaborate and share their expertise with you. With these few words, I once again welcome all of you to the workshop, and I wish the workshop adds great value to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Today, we have with us our Chairman, Board of Governors, Shri M. Balasubramaniam ji. Shri M. Balasubramaniam ji is a global digital transformation leader, captive MNC expert, and a global investor with 20 years of technology experience, especially in fintech and edtech. He is founder and CEO Start Infinity, a global consulting firm, and journal partner and chief digital officer Pontac UK. I would request our chairman to address the participants today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Anushree. Dear Chief Guest, Dr. Manish Gupta, Director of Google Research, and Professor Dr. Kanabiran, Director of IIIT, Professor Dr. Rakesh, who is the convener and enthusiastic professor of IIIT Sri City, distinguished professors, eminent keynote speakers from the academics, from the industry across the world, and 140 plus participants who are joining across the mega 5 days workshop. I remember last year was the first such workshop happened, and we were able to get enormous response from the academicians, from the industry experts, as well as from the students, as reported by our director during our Board of Governors meeting. And glad that we are continuing the second workshop, which is going to be attended by 140 plus people across the world. This reminds me how quick we are looking at the ecosystem that envisage the global trends that will have the profound effect on the Indian technology landscape for the next few years. With an unstoppable evolution of technology, customer experience, and expectations, the business models, it is imperative that many companies are ready to adapt the changing times. This brings about the inherent need for the companies to tap into global markets, global hotspots for R&D innovation, market leadership, and so on and so forth. What it means, globalization is therefore no longer a choice, but a reality. I'm sure you all will embrace this change. I'd like to share some of the recent survey, a global survey that underwent, and where most of the CXOs participated. Very interesting survey, which showed that significantly business and technology ecosystem impact has been derived out of this. And the interesting thing is massive scale in intelligent technology, automation and adoption on a broader view that includes AI, ML, deep learning, and some of the key components of this intelligent technology automation. If you look at from the east to west, out of the 5-6 mega trends, which I wish to share quickly, let us start from the east. The Chinese government is planning to invest $150 billion US dollars in AI ML by 2025. If you look at India, slightly moving from east, the Indian enterprises spending on intelligent technologies and automation is moving towards $1 trillion by 2025. Slightly moving towards Europe, the government is planning, the government of Germany is planning to invest 3 billion euros for the research, AI ML research between now and 25. That's going to help their nation's AI strategy. And it's a little bit moving towards UK. Perhaps the 60% of the UK's companies expect to increase their intelligent tech investments more than 10% every fiscal year, right? And moving towards the west side of the globe, if you move to US, the potential savings from the intelligent automation that leads to productivity announcement that amounts to 1.2 trillion and hundreds of unicorns across the world. And the last but not the least, the Indian Planning Commission has projected the enterprise architecture on intelligence, automation and technology to exceed 1 trillion by 2025. If you look at these 6 trends, which was identified recently, I think the reason for us to have this kind of workshop, deep learning workshop and conferences make extraordinary sense, extraordinary ownership and accountability for each one of the stakeholders, my dear friends. The widespread of adoption of AI, ML, automation, IoT, all the deep technology for that matter, across is to kickstart a new race of technology dominance. If you look at just like the race of 50 years space race 50 years back, today we are seeing the countries competing for leadership in the domain of intelligent technologies, right? So these intelligent technologies not only have the potential to create a massive productivity announcement, both in the white collar and blue collar jobs, but also it helps to create as a new announcement, a meaningful revenue streams for the business to achieve the goals, the customer experience, employee experience, students experience, right? Every stakeholder experience is getting enriched with these changes. If you look at the possibilities that can be achieved with the adoption of these intelligent technologies, is limitless in India. And India being the fourth largest the ecosystem of technology leaders in the world, I think it's definitely nearing its inflection point in the space. And I think 2022 is a year to be bold, right? So the old way of working is not going to work anymore, and the future is up for grabs. And the leading firms will use the crucibles of 2020 and 21 to forge a path of being agile, being creative, being resilient tomorrow. And as I always say, 22, the new normal will be more new than it will be normal, right? That is how the creativity, the resilience, the agility fueled by a strong customer understanding, and the smart investment will separate the leaders and laggards, and no matter what industry it belong to. And that is where we as industry, academicians, the ecosystem, trying to pay extraordinary attention to build the students ecosystem, so that the industry ready fitness is being derived out of the students. And also I'd like to recollect quickly the fastest prediction that illuminates where the pressure and opportunity will arise in 2022. I saw in the recent survey, but it's not enough to understand what's coming. Actually, you need to swiftly tackle the most pressing priorities, and leaders like us across the technology, academics, education, customer experience, be it product management, anything. So all these key priorities today, the industry is looking at the distance between the bold vision and the superior business impact. And according to one of the industry studies, the estimated US deep learning software market by 25 is about 80 million or so, which means the projected size of the global deep learning market by 27 is at the rise of CAGR 40%, which is about $44 billion. That means the expectation of the deep learning is really, really huge. It's becoming, it's growing well, and it's going to be the new normal or more than the new normal in the near future. Having said this, my dear friends, where education meets innovation, where ideas lead to successful startups, where life is immersed in technology, where the pathways are created for global success, where passion and purpose come together, realize your dream. For India and the Indian students and the Indian ecosystem, it is not just about the learning, but it's a learning revolution. We at IIIT Sri City, we are giving a very primary focus towards the booming technologies that includes AI, ML, deep learning, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. And I'm extremely thrilled and happy to inaugurate the second deep learning workshop hosted along with NSRB and IIIT Sri City. I strongly believe this is going to be a wonderful platform for the students, not only from IIIT Sri City, whoever is watching in a YouTube live, or who is going to look at this recording over a period of time, to learn from the experts all over the world. And it's going to be a knowledge exchange between the experts in deep learning field, both academically and as well as from the industry experts. I'm wishing all the very best for this workshop, a grand success. My special appreciations to Director and Professor Dr. Rakesh and Dr. Arun for taking enormous efforts in making this and planning it very well. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shri M. Balasubramaniam ji, for addressing the participants and highlighting the importance of the globalization. Thank you so much once again. We are honored to have Dr. Manish Gupta, Director Google Research India, with us today. Dr. Manish Gupta is Director of Google Research India. He holds an additional appointment as Infosys Foundation Chair Professor at IIIT Bangalore. Previously, Dr. Manish has led VideoCan, a video technology startup, and the research centers for Xerox and IBM in India. As a senior manager at IBM TJ Watson Research Center in Yorktown Heights, New York, Dr. Manish led the team developing system software for Blue Gen L supercomputer. IBM was awarded a National Medal of Technology and Innovation for Blue Gene by US President Barack Obama in 2009. Dr. Manish holds a PhD in computer science from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. He has co-authored about 75 papers with more than 7,000 citations in Google Scholars with an H index of 46, and has been granted 19 US patents. While at IBM, Dr. Manish received 2 Outstanding Technical Achievement Awards, an Outstanding Innovation Award, and the Lew Bratzner Team Award for Client Excellence. Dr. Manish is a Fellow of ACM and Indian National Academy of Engineering, and a recipient of a Distinguished Alumnus Award from IIT Delhi. His research area include distributed system, parallel computing, education, innovation, health and bioscience, machine intelligence, and software systems. I welcome Dr. Manish to present the inaugural address.
Thank you, Dr. Bablani. Again, Professor Kanabiran, Mr. Bala, Honorable Chairman, all the distinguished professors and dear participants in this workshop. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to say a few words. So primarily, I wanted to convey the excitement today that it's just a wonderful time to be a technologist. And in particular, it's a really absolutely wonderful time to be an AI researcher, practitioner, because again, with the advances that we have seen in computing, um, computing has really evolved to become a very, very major force in the entire world, right? So today, you look at any industry and you see that it has been really transformed uh, with the help of computing. And in particular, again, we see today um, artificial intelligence and machine learning really making, in some sense, a major difference to every aspect of how the world is run. There are people like Professor Andrew Ng, who's referred to AI as the new electricity. And, and by that, he meant that just like electricity transform each and every aspect of how the world is run, AI is having a very similar impact, or it has that potential. So for all of the attendees, especially the young students in the audience, today, I mean, you have this opportunity that if you are passionate about any problem, you can really pursue that problem in some sense with vigor, and apply your expertise in computing, and in particular your expertise in areas like artificial intelligence, machine learning, to really make a difference to those problems, especially when you work together with domain experts who really understand what are the right problems to solve in that area. So talking about deep learning again, I mean, it is quite amazing that this is essentially a reincarnation of the concept of artificial neural networks, which in fact, it is the concept is decades old. And in fact, the pioneers of deep computing, um, Geoffrey Hinton, Jan LeCun, and uh, uh, who were honored, right, with the Turing Award, they in fact had been working in deep learning. I mean, they were honored for the work that they had done starting in the 80s. And then pretty much the community had given up on deep learning as something that just doesn't work. Because in those days, the problem was the compute power wasn't enough to allow, again, these artificial neural networks to solve meaningful problems at the appropriate scale. And one of the lessons from all of this is also to be persistent. So Jeff Hinton, I mean, today deep learning is all the rage. In those days, right? I mean, there was this period, 90s and early 2000s, when professors like Geoffrey Hinton, they had problems getting their papers accepted at the top conferences based on their work in deep learning, because the community at that time was saying, look, it doesn't work. Why are you continuing to propose ideas? So they were persistent, and again, as the advances kept happening in compute power, they were able to, again, in the 2011 timeframe, in fact, a major breakthrough came in the area of image classification, where there used to be this annual contest where you had to identify the key object in that image, whether it's an image of a cat or a dog or a ship or a car and so on. And they showed dramatic improvements in the accuracy of these algorithms using deep learning. And in the subsequent years, deep learning established itself as the kind of dominant methodology to come up with state-of-the-art results in a wide variety. So it's surprising how the same concept, right, of training these neural networks, which are very, very simple mathematical units organized in the form of layers. And training the network means you have to come up with the weights for each of those kind of quote unquote neurons, those simple mathematical units. And it is quite surprising in hindsight, kind of how deep learning became, I mean, basically a common methodology, which is around training these networks, came to become the state-of-the-art method in so many different diverse areas, diverse kind of problems, ranging from image classification to automatic speech recognition to various natural language processing tasks like machine translation, translating from one language to another, or answering questions, doing things like sentiment analysis, to even now generational tasks where you're trying to generate an image or a video automatically from text, or you're trying to generate voice, speech. All of these different kinds of problems today, deep learning is providing the state-of-the-art methods for these problems. And in fact, what you find is, I mean, the other thing which is interesting is that today, many of these, in fact, there are open challenges even associated with deep learning itself, right? Areas like interpretability, how do you interpret the output of these deep neural networks? Areas like fairness, that you can come up with kind of, as you train these networks based on data from humans, there's a potential for perpetuating the human biases. For instance, let's say you're trying to use deep learning techniques to automatically select candidates. So yeah, I mean, right now, because I thought there might be problems projecting these schemes, so I'm just kind of talking normal without using these slides. But yes, maybe I can refer to a few of these slides in a few of those things. So today, deep learning also, you have outstanding challenges. For instance, the problem of generalizability. So deep, as well as making kind of confident mistakes. So unlike humans, when let's say you pose a difficult problem to me, I know when I don't know, right? So let's say I'm a doctor and I'm presented with a complicated case. When I'm presented with a complicated case, I usually know that this case is complicated. And therefore, perhaps I should seek a second opinion. Yeah, so you can stay on this previous slide.
Which one? This one?
No, the previous, the previous one. Yeah, right here. So there are problems like explainability. I was just talking at about the bottom line. Explainability. There are issues of fairness. For instance, let's say when you're selecting candidates by applying deep learning techniques, if you train your algorithms based on how humans have made their selections of candidates, there are numerous studies that show often, for instance, in the world of technology, often we have a bias against women, for instance, because there have been studies that show if for the same resume, if you simply change the name from a male to a female name, the chances of that resume getting selected go lower. So how do you avoid perpetuating these biases in these machine learning algorithms? That itself is a very active area of work. Then safety. So one of the, as I mentioned, right? So in something like healthcare, these things become very important because unlike a human who knows when they have a kind of a complex problem and they're not so confident about their solution, deep learning algorithms have been known to very confidently go and make mispredictions. So how do you calibrate these deep learning algorithms, as well as how you ideally even generalize, make these algorithms more general, so that when the data in production is different, very different from the data that has been used to train these algorithms, they are able to uh, ideally generalize. And if they are unable to generalize, at least kind of uh, be calibrated, that they are able to detect that uh, let's say they are not so confident about those cases. So there are some very, very interesting kind of open challenges with the field of deep learning itself, which present opportunities for doing fundamental research. Now, coming to application areas, there are many, many interesting application areas. So maybe you can stay on the previous slide. So if we look at, let's say, our own country, India, and how do we democratize access to information for every Indian? So those of us who are attending this workshop, right, we are the lucky ones that for us, because we understand English, we are able to access any kind of information at our fingertips through the use of, again, search engines like Google or Bing or whatever is your favorite search engine. One of the questions we asked is, can we democratize such access to information, right? For, let's say, the laborer's daughter in Chhattisgarh, the farmer's son in Haryana, who may not be very comfortable with English. And so next slide. When you look at how kind of, again, deep learning has initially kind of revolutionized, right, this whole natural language processing, one of the technologies that really kind of made a huge difference was BERT, which was, again, trained over a corpus of formal text taken from sources like Wikipedia. And essentially, the idea was you kind of mask out certain words, and you kind of, let's say, mask out 15% of the words, and you get this model to predict those words. So this is very similar to the exercise that we used to get of fill in the blanks when we were learning English in school. And by making us fill in the blanks, the teacher was testing our understanding of English. So a very similar thing is happening where BERT is being forced to learn the nuances of the language and be able to guess these words from the context, and therefore reason about about the text that is appearing. So through this kind of a training, models like BERT have been able to significantly improve uh, the success of various kind of, again, deep learning methods on natural language processing tasks like sentiment analysis, question answering, and so on, as well as machine translation. So if you keep advancing, so some of the problems that we have looked at is, when you look at even English in the real world, it is actually a superset of formal English, right? So there are, we've used this kind of example of this menu card from a restaurant, showing the appetizer menu, and the way, uh, let's say, pineapple, the words pineapple and appetizer have been spelled, you can see that phonetically, the way pineapple has been spelled, no native English speaker would spell it that way. But phonetically, it makes a lot of sense. But because if you imagine the word in Hindi and then try to write it in Roman script, this is not an unreasonable way of writing it. And the way appetizer is spelled, if you further look at the influence of your native language, let's say the sound z is missing, so you replace it with the closest sound j, and which now kind of, when you're writing it in Roman script, this is a reasonable way of writing that word appetizer, if you were to simply replace the z sound with the j sound. So one of the question, you can just maybe keep advancing, our team asked was, how do you understand these kind of variants when they appear in Google search, to be able to understand the user intent, right, and serve it. So that led to these ideas on endophoneme. Next slide, where we wanted to model also the reasons behind kind of these spelling variations and understand the user intent. And a very interesting side observation that Arvind made was, if you now create all these variants, let's say, of the word shoes, the way they might be spelled. And you can see one variant, which is SHUJ. And now if you if you run a text-to-speech engine on all of these variants, and let's say you get this output shuj, and now you train your automatic speech recognition engine on all of these variants, and make it recognize that this is talking about the word shoes, you can now make these automatic speech recognition systems much more robust to different accent variations. Because today you would have seen that while these automatic speech recognition systems work extremely well for native speakers, they don't work so well for people with, let's say an accent like mine, and they work even less for somebody with a very thick native accent, let's say a Bengali accent or a Haryanvi accent and so on, or a Gujarati accent. So so these were some examples. Yeah, you can just keep advancing, of some work that we have done to make both query processing and automatic speech recognition, yeah, so keep advancing, more robust. Another problem that we have looked at is code mixing, where since in India we are very multilingual, most of us speak more than one language. Many people even speak more than two languages. It's very common for us to mix multiple languages in the same sentence, right? So something like "Kya price hai iska?" What when you're trying to ask what is its price, and often things are even transliterated. So you no longer can afford, let's say, when you have to process such queries, to only think in terms of, let's say, a model for English, a model for Hindi, or a model for Tamil. You have to build, or let's say Telugu, you have to build models that understand a combination of these languages. So that has led to, again, work, for instance, that the research community and we at our lab have been doing on multilingual models, which are able to handle a combination of multiple languages. Please keep advancing. And we, in particular, at Google Research India, we have built this model called Mural, multilingual representations for Indian languages, which covers 16 Indian languages and English. And we've been able to show significant improvements in accuracies of various NLP tasks, as we kind of use something like Mural. Yeah, so keep advancing. And again, we have applied, yeah, please, you can keep advancing. We have applied ideas from Mural to Google products like Google Assistant, where it is able to, again, understand inputs from 8 Indian languages, and better understand the user intent. So these are examples for somebody trying to set an alarm in Marathi, Bengali, and Gujarati. And through now the analysis, which is based on Mural, we are able to now better understand the user intent. If you advance to the next slide. Another interesting class of problems arise when we look at, again, the use of smartphones, because so India has become the second largest kind of country with the second largest number of internet users. And most of the internet users in India are accessing the internet not through a desktop, but through a smartphone, and typically a low-end smartphones. And most of the people for whom the smartphone is the first digital device, we also are accessing it. We prefer accessing it through voice rather than having to kind of use all these settings and so on, and preferably communicate in our native language. And yeah, so maybe we can stop using. You can just stop at the previous slide. I'll just kind of conclude soon. So we prefer using native language. We prefer using voice-based interface. So this presents a very interesting set of challenges. Ideally, to preserve the user's privacy and to be able to also support these capabilities when, let's say, the network is on, when there is poor network connectivity, you would like to have these capabilities be supported right on the device. So you want automatic speech recognition and some of this kind of detection of commands in different languages and so on, and maybe some lens-based capabilities available on the device, on the phone, and which becomes a huge challenge because many of these phones have much lower computational power, much lower memory than the desktop or servers, right, where these deep learning algorithms are run. So a very interesting set of challenges that our team has been dealing with of how to make such powerful algorithms work well on these very resource constrained devices like these low-end smartphones. So this is where, again, a lot of work is going, a lot of very interesting open research challenges remain. And then there are additional challenges in how do you preserve the privacy of individuals, because often uh, uh, for business reasons you want to provide personalized services to your users. However, personalization is often at odds with privacy. So how do you support a combination of, so how do you support personalized services while honoring the privacy of users? It's a huge challenge. And again, there is some interesting research being done. Let me just conclude by saying that there is kind of no shortage of very, very interesting areas to tackle. We've also been pursuing problems in healthcare, in agriculture. Again, in health, we are very excited that now with the growing use of mobiles and even wearables that some people are beginning to use, there is very rich information about how we are living our normal lives that is now potentially available in digital form. How much exercise are we getting? How much sleep are we getting? How stressed I am? Am I eating the right kind of food? So there are some very interesting opportunities for how to analyze all of this information, right? To be able to provide early warnings to people who are at a risk of diseases like cardiovascular disease or diabetes, because I mean, these are major killers in the world at large as well as in India. So the largest number of lives are lost in India due to heart attacks. And often people who are dying of these heart attacks increasingly are often very are people even in their 40s and 50s are beginning to get heart attacks and dying, and often these people are unaware that they are at the risk of that let's say cardiovascular disease. So by analyzing some of these kind of parameters which are available through phones, through wearables, in fact, you could provide early both warnings as well as suggest personalized interventions that will help people lead healthier lives and avoid these risk factors for diseases like heart attacks. And likewise, agriculture, there are major opportunities for us to transform the whole practice of agriculture, including not just precision agriculture, but even problems like giving a farmer access to loan or reasonably priced crop insurance. Many of these problems, you can make a major difference through the use of deep learning. So for instance, today, for a bank to provide a loan to the farmer, they might need to send a person 50 kilometers away from the branch to the farmer's field to inspect what the farmer is growing, what the yield is likely to be. On the other hand, if you could simply, from analysis of the satellite imagery, if you could, based on the farmer's land records, if you could locate on the map where the farmer's field is, and then even automatically identify what crop the farmer is growing and automatically estimate the yield the farmer is likely to get, the bank could now be do these tasks of evaluating the farmer's credit worthiness, or kind of when they are trying to sell the farmer crop insurance, do these at in a much more efficient manner, and therefore provide these services at a lower fee to the farmers and make them financially affordable. So there are, again, you'd look at any field, be it healthcare, agriculture, transportation, there are amazing opportunities for us to transform that field with the help of computing, and in particular with the help of AI, where again, deep learning has established itself as the dominant kind of methodology. And as I kind of briefly outlined, there are still outstanding challenges with the field of deep learning itself. So it's just an amazing time to be a deep learning researcher, uh, a deep learning practitioner. And hopefully through this workshop, you will get, again, uh, exposure to a lot of cutting edge research, a lot of ideas from how deep learning is being applied to solve real problems. And hopefully, you will choose to pursue some problems that you are passionate about, right, through the use of these methods. So again, I thank you for your attention and wish you great success. Sorry, I was being evacuated out of my room, but and so wishing you a wonderful workshop. And again, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manish, for addressing the participants and sharing the challenges as well as the history of deep learning, and also highlighting the applications of deep learning, especially the Indo-Finno model of Murray. So as we have reached the end of the inaugural session, I would now like to request my colleague and the co-convener of WADLA 2022 to present the vote of thanks. Dr. Arun, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anushree ma'am, for the opportunity. And I consider it as a privilege to express my gratitude to one and all. I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Dr. Manish Gupta for such a knowledgeful speech. Actually, it was very interesting to listen to your words, sir. And actually, your speech highlighting the applications have set a platform for the launch of this workshop. And I think now the participants will be more keen in knowing more about these research areas. And aptly, we have experts from these domains, and I hope they will enjoy this workshop. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind address. I hope it will motivate all of us, the participants, as well as the faculties and the industry people, to take up research in these areas and to collaborate each other. Thank you again, sir. And our beloved chairman, sir, Sri M. Balasubramaniam, has always been a source of inspiration and support to all of us. We always drew motivation from your kind words, sir. And we are really thankful for your support for this workshop and for inspiring us for conducting such activities. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, and coming to our director, sir, so I have to say that we are really lucky to have him with us, because despite the fact that he was quite busy with the additional charge as the director of NIT Trichy, he still managed time to meet us at least once or twice in a week, so that everything is going all right with the workshop. And we were getting guidance every now and then. We are really thankful for your support and guidance, sir, and we hope that under your leadership and kind guidance, we will be able to do more such activities. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind support. And now, when it comes to the workshop, we all know that it's quite important to have good speakers. I would like to thank our eminent speakers for accepting our invitation. For instance, we have Dr. Vishnu Chandra, sir, Colonel Kuldeep Yadav, and expertise from academia, national and international academia, as well as people from the industry, who have actually agreed kindly to deliver this their words of expertise in this workshop. So thank you one and all for accepting our invitation and cooperating with us. Actually, it's due to time limitation, I cannot name all of them, but we express sincere thanks to one and all. And now my heartfelt gratitude and thanks goes to Dr. Rakesh, who is the convener of this workshop, for organizing such a very good workshop. And like he was always there for coordination or for all the talks, and all supports were there from his side as well for this workshop. And apart from him, all the faculties, Dr. Anusri ma'am, thank you for comparing the session. And on a short notice, even though we intimated her on a short notice, she was ready to support us. And thank you all the other faculties. Many of the faculties will be chairing many sessions, and all of them for all the support, and our supporting staff, Mr. Vijay, and our PhD students, whoever actually, actually behind this workshop for last 2 days. So we sincerely thank all of them. And another important factor of this workshop are the participants. We got a very wide response from all the participants, and thank you so much for your interest in this technology, in this growing technology, as highlighted by all our speakers. So I hope you will now you are now feeling more motivated to take up this these sessions. Thank you one and all. And last, I would also like to express our gratitude to the Science and Engineering Research Board for sponsoring this workshop. And thank you all again. Thanks to all of you for attending this inaugural session and making it a success. I hope we'll also make our workshop a great success. And I believe that we will not end up with this workshop. We will keep it as a community, so that we have a deep learning community, a closely connected community of industry, experts, academia, and all of us can exchange our problems, and we all can contribute to the society and to our country as a whole. Thank you all for attending the session. Thanks again. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arun. With the permission, I will now formally close the session.
Yes. Yeah, I have a small request to the participants. So you can, there is a separate session link shared with all of you. So you can join the session with that links. The day one link has been shared with you already. So the first talk will be from Professor B. Krishna Mohan from IIT Bombay. So it will start at around 10:15. So I hope all of you will join the session. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Manish Gupta.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, we will close this meeting. Yes.
Thank you, everyone.